folks. Welcome to People Plus News. I'm Stacy Frizzle, the Executive Director at People Plus, and I'm joined today by Patrick Gabrian. Patrick is the new editor of our newspaper here at People Plus, and as many of you may or may not know, Frank Connors has officially retired. I think you'll see him back on the show sometimes, which is nice. He'll do some guest drop-in appearances. But we wanted to bring Patrick in today so you could all get to know him. He does, I think have you been told yet that you kind of look like Frank?
Yeah, I did it at the picnic. A lot of people said I look like his younger brother.
His younger brother, yeah, exactly. Which I find kind of interesting and a little amusing. Jonathan, my husband, gets that too. Yeah. People tell him he looks like a younger Frank, which is funny. So anyway, so thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Have you done television much before?
Just on a couple of occasions. I did a bike ride once from North Carolina to Texas, and so I was interviewed about that one time. So,
wow, that's a huge bike ride.
Yeah.
North Carolina to Texas. How many miles was that?
Well, on the bike, it ended up being almost 1,500 miles.
Wow.
Over 25 days.
25 days.
Yeah.
How fun.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. So you're a big cyclist.
Yes.
How long have you been cycling?
Well, since I was about knee-high to a grasshopper, but pretty big time since about the year 2000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I do about between 4,000 and 5,000 miles a year.
Wow.
So.
And what are your favorite rides?
Well, there's a good century ride out of South Portland that's called the Maine Lighthouse Ride, and that goes all the way down to Kennebunkport and back, and that's along the coast of Maine. That's one of my favorites.
Okay, so I'm going to go out on a limb here. A century ride is 100 miles?
That's correct.
Okay. Yay! Got that right.
Yep.
I wasn't sure if you had to be alive for a century before you could do it, because you don't really look that old.
No, it's 100 miles.
So, awesome. So what if somebody wanted to ride somewhere that wasn't 100 miles? Though, do you have any recommendations for people locally?
Well, the bike path along the Androscoggin River is really nice. I've done that a few times, and that's nice and flat.
Oh, in Brunswick?
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
the one that goes towards Bath and stuff like that. That's a good ride. And I haven't done a whole lot around this area because I live in Hollowell, but there's a lot of good rides.
Although you did take a ride recently with the People Plus Easy Riders.
I did. We went out to Simpsons Point, and it was a little slower pace than I'm used to, but I had a great time.
Good.
It was really nice to get to know the people, Richard and them, and it was a lot of fun.
How many people were in that group?
There were 5 of us that day.
And the Easy Riders, they leave from People Plus every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. in the summer. In the winter, I don't know if you know this, it actually converts to a wintry outing club, they call themselves.
Right.
They'll hike sometimes. I think I'm not sure they've done skating. It's a little dangerous when you get older. But I know one time they actually pooled their funds and they rented like a horse-drawn wagon ride.
Oh, really?
Like Christmas, type thing with the ding, 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 the bells and stuff, which was really cool.
Yeah.
But they just try to get together every week.
Yeah.
And in the summer, they're the Easy Riders, so it's biking primarily.
Yeah, they were a fun group. I was glad I went.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what you wore.
What I wore that day?
Uh-huh.
Well, to be honest with you, I was a little bit embarrassed because I was all, as I say, kitted out, but fully clothed in bicycling gear from head to toe.
Like you got it straight out of a bike kit?
Yep.
And that's what that means, yeah.
I had a really nice bike with me that day, so as I said, I felt a little overdressed and a little embarrassed, but they welcomed me with open arms.
I'm sure they were very gracious.
Yeah, they were.
And they just laughed and talked about you behind your back,
right.
probably, yeah.
But it was fun.
So you'd never know.
Yeah.
So, and I remember reading what you wrote about. It was really interesting because you made a comment that you sort of got to stop and smell the roses.
Yeah.
A little bit more than you might have normally.
Yeah. Because most of the time if I go out with my friends, we kind of hammer and go as fast as we can. Yep. And that was we averaged 8.3 miles per hour. So as I said in the article, it was a chance to converse for one thing, and listen to the birds singing, and just see the surrounding area that we were cycling through, and it was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah. So
it was 8.3 miles per hour. How fast do you normally average?
I usually average anywhere between 15 and 17 miles per hour.
Okay, yeah, so that's cranking.
Yeah.
I do a little cycling myself. Mine's primarily for triathlons.
Yeah.
But cycling is one of my favorite sports. I have a Le Mans that I bought online, and it actually came with the shoes.
Really?
The speed, yeah, and they fit. I was like, perfect.
Yeah.
It was a whole kit, as you call it. but I don't do nearly enough. Like, I wish I cycled more.
Yeah.
Actually, reading your stuff is making me want to go biking.
Yeah.
And how many bikes do you have?
I have 6 bikes.
So, okay, so why would you have 6 bikes? Like, why would you need that?
Yeah, really.
Do I sound like your wife right now?
I don't know. For one thing, when you get a bike, you tend to, at least for me, I keep it really nice so they last longer, and you just don't get rid of them. I have one. My oldest bike is 31 years old.
Wow.
So I have 3 road bikes. I have a fat bike that I use in the winter, one with the really big tires.
Yeah. And do you ride on the ice with that? Like on frozen lakes
as long
and
as you've
stuff?
got studded tires. Otherwise, you're
It's too slippery.
crashing.
Yeah, okay.
And then I have a cyclocross bike that I usually use for gravel rides, which is a big thing these days. And then I just recently got a mountain bike. So my basement's getting pretty full.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah. And my wife is just, thank God she hasn't put the brakes on yet, so.
No pun intended.
Right.
She lets your wheels keep spinning.
Right. So, yeah, I'm very fortunate she doesn't put up too much of a stink.
Nice. Well, she probably wants you to stay healthy and fit.
That's correct.
She knows that you love it, so she
Yeah.
supports it. So tell us about your wife. What's her name?
Her name is Vicky. She's from England. I happened to be on a bike when I met her indirectly because I was cycling around southeastern England and then went into France for a while and then came back to London to some friends that I was staying with, and I was unfortunately run over by a truck.
Like run over the truck?
Yeah.
It didn't
Literally.
just hit you, it ran over your body?
And,
Holy
and the bike.
crikey,
and the
as they
bike.
say over there, right?
And
the bike.
Yep. So the ambulance came, they threw me in the back and the bike, and so I was in the hospital for 2 months, and she ended up.
And where were you exactly? London?
London, yeah. I was in St. Thomas's Hospital right across from the river from Parliament.
Wow, from the Thames, yeah.
She was a nurse there, and that's how we met.
At the hospital?
Yes.
Wow.
So
that's fairly romantic.
And it was worth getting run over.
And how long ago was that?
That was in 1982.
Okay, so you said yesterday you celebrated
our 36th wedding anniversary.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did you get married there, or did she come back here?
We came back here. We got married in Florida.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow, that is such a romantic little story. Isn't that sweet? I love that.
Yeah, it was worth it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing. Is her name Vicky or Victoria?
Well, it is her given name is Victoria, but it's Vicky.
She goes back. My middle name is Victoria.
Oh, it is.
So my dad used to call me Stacy Vicky.
Uh-huh.
So
yeah, she was named after the Queen.
I was too.
Yeah.
Actually, mine's Anastasia Victoria.
Uh-huh.
So I was named after little Tsarina and then the Queen. Yeah. Yeah. My dad was really into the monarchy.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Nice. Well, she and I will have that in common.
Yes.
So I look forward to meeting her at some point.
I hope you
do.
do.
Have her around. So, and we should tell the story of you look very nice, by the way. That blue shirt is fantastic.
Yeah.
And Patrick admitted to me that his wife washed it last night, and who ironed it this morning?
She did.
Oh, nice.
I don't iron.
She got up and ironed his shirt just for this show.
Right.
Thanks, Vicky. We appreciate it. He looks
as soon
very
as I
nice.
told her I was going to be on television, she said, "Oh, you need to put that shirt on," but
it looks terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good shirt on you, so thank you.
Yeah.
All righty. So what do you think about People Plus so far? Not to put you on the spot. It's been like a month or two.
As you well know, you were after me a little bit to even take the job.
Right.
And so then I finally came down and visited. I was a little familiar with the facility, but I'd never been there. So my first impression as soon as I walked through the door was, wow, this place is hopping.
Oh, good. Yeah.
There's a lot of activity there. That's the thing that struck me the most. A lot going on, a lot of people having a great time, and that kind of convinced me that this might not be a bad job.
Oh, good.
So
yay. I appreciate you trying us on and seeing how it fit.
Yeah.
I had asked Patrick like 6 months or so ago, 8 months ago, and you hadn't quite retired yet from, you'd been working at the Times Record for
16 years.
16 years. And
Yep.
before that, other newspapers
Yep.
in New England?
Yep. Well, prior to that, I'd worked at the Kennebec Journal and Morning Sentinel up in the Augusta area. And that was for almost 20-some years.
Okay.
And then I've worked at newspapers in Florida and Michigan.
Okay.
for a total of 44 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
I feel very fortunate, though, because a lot of people in the industry didn't get to stay that long
Yeah,
because
didn't.
of how it's changed so much.
Right,
So
right.
I felt pretty grateful
Well,
for
I
that.
feel like you've managed to adapt. Like you've got a blog, you know,
Yeah.
you've figured out the online piece in addition to the printed word.
Yeah.
And it really makes a difference to be flexible and adaptable.
Yeah.
Or it's, you know, you're not going to survive, as you say, in
Right.
the industry because
Right.
it's definitely a changing market.
It's changed a whole lot. And
For
When
sure.
I started, we didn't even have computers.
Right.
So it's,
Right. Well, when you started, I was 6. Just saying. And I'm guessing you were not.
right.
So yay, I get to start talking about that. I used to give Frank a hard time for being, when he came back from Vietnam, it was the month and year I was born.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
May of '68. And he had
Yeah.
just come back from war.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, maybe you won't get after me so much because I'm not as young or as old as he was.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have a little conversation later when we start talking about the Medicare program and
Yeah.
whether or not you need to go attend that soon.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right. So speaking of, we should probably talk about People Plus for a little bit and what's going on, you know, in August. July was amazing. So it was nice because you were around for a bunch of the things.
Yep.
And I do feel like that probably also gave you a good sense of the place, you know,
Yeah.
the flavor
Yeah.
of, especially the picnic that we
Yeah.
just had in July. So what
Yeah.
did you think about that event?
Well, I think it was very valuable that I did go to that because a couple of things. It gave me a real appreciation for Frank.
Oh.
I didn't know him
That was the first time
well.
you'd really hung out with him.
Yeah, you know, I'd obviously met him at the office a couple of times to kind of get acclimated to what the newspaper was about. But to go to the picnic and listen to what everyone had to say about him was kind of like, wow, this guy's quite the dude. you
Yeah,
know?
he's popular.
And he knew everybody. He knows everybody.
Right.
And they were really appreciative of all the things he did there. So I was really glad I got to go. Plus, it gave me the opportunity to meet a lot of people.
The members.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I thought it was really great.
And I will say that one of the things I saw that day was that you're a doer. Like you were not just sitting in a chair under the shade eating your lunch. You pitched right in, you set up, you unloaded the vehicles, you helped us clean up, you packed all the food up at the end. You were just like, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do?
Yeah.
Which I will say I really appreciated. And it showed me a part of you that I didn't know
Yeah.
before.
Well, I was raised to help
To get it
people.
done?
Yep.
Yeah.
Help people out. And,
Right. Well, that's lovely. And that I think it's nice because that's what we do at People Plus. Everybody is part of the team.
Yeah.
Nobody has like the I'm too important or special to do anything. I literally took down all the tables and chairs in the cafe yesterday. I will take the trash out. I clean the bathroom up if it's messy, you know, that kind of thing. Like none of us have huge egos. And so it was just really lovely to see like, oh, good. You're like fit right in, you know,
Yeah.
just jumped in and started helping.
Well,
and that
so-
was really nice.
Thank you.
And I will say, Jonathan loved chatting with you. He just really enjoyed getting to know you a little
Yeah.
bit too. He thought you were great, and you guys kind of resemble also.
Yeah.
So yeah, we should have taken a picture of you and Frank and Jonathan. That would be really fun, actually.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right. So at People Plus last month, July was packed. So busy with events. We had a retirement party for Jean Mayo. So Jean d'Arc Mayo, Odette, I think it's Ordeal. I always forget what the O stands for. She's going to kill me now. She'll probably watch. Is retiring from the board after 17 years of service at the organization. So she's leaving the same month Frank's leaving, and they've both been there for 17 years. And they've worked together on a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because we had this lovely retirement function to thank Jean d'Arc Mayo for her service as a volunteer for 17 years. And I was really honored because she and her family donated money to start the Teen Center Endowment Fund. So we named the fund the Mayo Family Brunswick Area Teen Center Endowment Fund. And we gave her a plaque that reads that. And I think it was really special. I think it spoke to her in that she's been a vitally important person to the center. So I was honored to be able to, to tell her how much we appreciated her service. It was a lovely little party at Steve and Sue Labe's house down on Muir Point Road. So that was fun, but also emotionally charged.
Yeah.
And we had Frank's picnic. You know, it was the summer picnic combo see you later Frank party. And that was 140 people at Thomas Point Beach last week. So that was a huge function with a lot of food and a lot of moving parts. And then we also did a men's breakfast in July without Frank for the first time. So Jason Witten, who's the chef over at the Senior Health Center, is come on board to do men's breakfast once a month for us. So that's really nice. So that's a big function. And then Jonathan and I actually hosted 2 of the fundraisers for Music in April at our house. So we hosted dinner for 8 twice in July. Both Friday nights, both times it looked like we were going to get rained out, and neither time we did, which was amazing. We ended up having beautiful Friday nights in July, mid-July.
What was on the menu?
It's a huge amount of work, though. Yeah. So Jonathan built a stone pizza oven about a decade or so ago. So we fired that up, which you have to do like 2 hours early to get it nice and hot inside and get a bed of coals. And then he does homemade pizzas. He makes the dough himself.
Oh, really?
So you got to start that like a day in advance. So the yeast dough sits on the counter and the flour gets really hydrated. And so we did pizzas in the pizza oven, a charcuterie board, appetizer with meat and cheese and olives and stuff. We did a Prosecco toast to the organization. We had wines and sparkling water. And then inside the house for dinner, we'd made Mediterranean chicken, risotto, and the first week I did a flourless chocolate torte with balsamic soaked strawberries and fresh whipped cream, and then the second week I did tiramisu. So I changed the dessert up a little bit, but it was fun. I think the people had a good time, and we were able to to really have them feel like their donation to People Plus went to a good cause.
Right.
While they were, we were able to sort of wine and dine them to say thank you. So, but it was a lot of entertaining in July. I was exhausted by the end of the month. So I'm going to run through some of these activities before we run out of time here. So let's look at what we have going on in August at People Plus. There's have you ever heard of A Matter of Balance? Do you know what that class is?
No.
It's offered by Healthy Living for Maine. It's a Spectrum Generations class. It's actually an 8-week workshop that emphasizes the practical strategies to reduce the fear of falling. So A Matter of Balance is staying upright. If you do fall, how to get up, how to recover after a fall, all that stuff. It's free and open to the public. You should definitely call to register and find out more about it. You could call the center to find out more, and they'll give you the number to register. We have women's breakfast coming up. So I go out of town. I'm away for vacation the first week. And then I'm back on August 8th. We'll have women's breakfast at 8:30 and then Apple Club at 10 o'clock. And I teach Apple Club. You have an iPhone, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So lots of people in your age group are, have devices, iPads, iPhones, etc. They bring them to Apple Club and we just chat about whatever's happening. So like I got hacked last night on Facebook, and so I'm going to have to talk about that at Apple Club to so people have an idea what that looked like. There's lunch out in August. They're still doing that, which is nice. It looks like they're going to Kimberly's in Richmond. If you're interested, you got to call the center and register. So that lunch out group is kind of fun. They have probably 12 to 15 people who go every month to a different restaurant anywhere in the Mid-Coast. The Medicare 101 session. Are you ready for that yet? Anywhere getting near 65? Asking his age on television.
I'm actually, I'll admit, I'm 66, so I'm already there.
Oh, there you go.
I already have my Medicare card.
You are the man. All right, you're all set up. So this is for people who are a tad younger than you, or maybe your age, quite honestly, because not everyone starts at 65, to learn about Medicare. And it's free and open to the public. It's the second Tuesday of every month. So if you miss the August, come in September. It's the second Tuesday at 12:30. And then we're having a really fun. The most important thing that happens at People Plus are the volunteers. Right? We would not exist without them. We have over 200 in various forms. Drivers, front desk receptionists, the kitchen staff. They come in all shapes and sizes. And we love to honor them every year. And this year we're doing it in August as a brunch. So it's at 10:30. We'll be serving a full brunch spread on Thursday, August 15th. So that'll be a really fun day at the center. We've got several other events. My favorite looks like the Aging Well Lunch and Learn. It's going to be all about the magic and mystery of honeybees and wild bees. So that'll be really fun. And then we've got a couple other things coming up. A free healing clinic, which is for massages. It's free and open to the public on Friday, August 30th. And then there's lots more going on. So what we'd love to say is check out our website, peopleplusmaine.org. Go online, check out the calendar, call the center, pick up a paper, and find out more about everything that's happening at People Plus. So Patrick, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
This went so well, you just might have to come back next month. We'll see. If he's willing, he'll have to get a new shirt, have to get another one.
Right, another one.
Do you hear that, Vicki? All
Yeah.
right. So thanks, folks, for sticking with us here on People Plus News. It was good to see you, and stay tuned because we're going to go straight in to a cooking show with Frank Connors and myself on People Plus Cooks. Welcome to People Plus Cooks. I'm Stacy Frizzle, the Executive Director at People Plus in Brunswick, Maine, and I'm joined, as always, with my trusty sidekick, Frank Connors. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
Frank is the Membership Director at People Plus, and so between us, we thought it'd be fun to take a look at the historical recipes of our senior community. So this month, we're looking at the bounty of the garden. It's August.
Look at it.
Right? And here it is. This is amazing how much you can get out of a garden.
Sure.
And you know, a garden was the way of life. 100 years ago, everyone had a garden.
Yep.
You know, you grew your produce.
50 years ago.
Even 50 years ago, that's
Sure.
true. Yeah, during World War II even, most
Yep.
people had a garden. So we have a garden at our house. Pretty good sized one,
Sure.
actually. I know you have a garden,
Sure.
right? So some of the stuff that's in our garden right now is, you know, what's the thing that when you plant the garden, you get all excited and you put in like 12 zucchini plants,
Oh, yeah.
not realizing that each one will give you 100 zucchinis.
Sure.
So you
Yeah,
always end up
yeah,
with
yeah.
way too many zucchinis. And then what's the
usually
other
too
thing?
many tomatoes.
Tomatoes, yeah, tomatoes. So actually, today we are talking tomatoes and cucumbers. So what I'm going to start with, we're each going to do 2 dishes from the garden.
Right.
So that'll be fun because you know you want to know what to do with them.
I want to just jump right in.
Yeah, you can start slicing your cucumber. So we've got cucumbers, we've got tomatoes, we've got fresh picked carrots, 2 kinds of squash, new potatoes, and 4 types of tomatoes here. So we've got a Roma tomato, which is a long sort of oval shaped tomato. And these are very tender and good to slice on the bias. We've got a vine ripened tomato, which is just a basic standard salad tomato, or you can bake with them or make sauces. We've got, what are these guys?
Those are just little old cherry tomatoes.
I think they're grape tomatoes, actually, and there's a difference apparently.
Wow,
I
excuse
know.
me.
Just saying. So
They do
these
look
are
a little bit like grapes.
yeah, they look like grapes.
More like grapes than cherries, I suppose.
Exactly. So this is a grape tomato, and I think they tend to be a little smaller
What
than
do we
cherry.
say about Stacy always being right?
Well, it's
Yeah.
just that I always have to correct you. I feel the need.
Yeah.
So these are a small, little tender, little, little grape tomato, and you just pop them in your mouth. And then what's this guy?
That's a beefsteak.
Beef steak.
Huh?
So they call them that, I think, because they slice up like a beef. They're kind of hearty, kind of meaty. So anyway, okay, we're going to start today with a caprese salad. So that is your sort of classic Italian sliced tomato, and fresh
Didn't do that one right.
mozzarella, fresh mozzarella cheese drizzled with olive oil and vinegar. So with the Roma tomatoes, you start slicing them on the bias, which means sort of diagonally, and it gives you nice slices like that. And then I'm going to layer it with the mozzarella cheese, and you know you don't want to use the 2 hard end pieces, so we'll set those aside. And so we've got our nice, beautiful tomato slices here. We've got a fresh ball of mozzarella, so that's lovely, and you can slice it. You know, if you start at the top, it makes nice circles that kind of blend in with your cheese pretty well. And this is obviously the world's easiest salad. Anybody can do this at home. And pick up some nice fresh tomatoes. And then you want to layer these just in a nice row like this.
All about presentation.
It is. Isn't that pretty?
But the world's easiest salad, it's right over here. Just plain old cucumbers.
Oh, okay. We'll get to that in 1 second. So there you go. That's pretty much all you do for
Yeah.
your mozzarella and your salad. And then you want to drizzle it with olive oil and balsamic
Sure.
vinegar.
Yeah.
So it just gets a little drizzle, you know, sort of right over the top like that. And this is a really
That
nice
looked more like
oil.
a downpour.
No, I like a little oil. This is a really nice
That's
olive
good
oil.
stuff.
It's got Tuscan herbs in it.
Ah, okay.
So that's great. And then you've got a nice a nice balsamic vinegar. Oh, I should have opened this earlier. Look at that. It's brand new.
Ooh.
And I got to take the tab off. So while I'm working
We're in
on
trouble.
it. Oh, no, here we go. Actually, that was pretty easy. So a little drizzle of balsamic over the top. And presto, there you go.
There it is.
That is a caprese salad.
That's a supper.
Ready. Now, a lot of people do a sprinkle of basil on here, fresh
Sure.
basil. And you could do mint or cilantro or whatever you might have. And then there you go. So that's our first tomato dish. And what have you got going over here?
Well, just plain old cucumbers.
So cucumber salad.
Cucumber salad.
Right, because cucumber is the other thing you'll end up with thousands of them.
Thousands of them.
So
Sure.
let's dress this then.
Sure.
Were you going to do a couple of those grape tomatoes in here too?
Oh, I can.
All right. So
cherry tomatoes.
again, it's a sprinkle of balsamic vinegar. You do some olive oil over the top, just a little skim of oil. And in this one, I would probably dress it with some herbs as well. Would you?
Sure.
Okay, so we've got a little dash of rosemary. We've got a little dash of basil. And you could actually, if you had basil in your garden or in a pot, a lot of people do basil in a pot, right?
Yeah.
You could do a little fresh dash of chopped up basil and then a little oregano maybe in there. And then you get that tossed around. You know, give me those guys.
How about that?
Perfect, just for a little color. And there you go. So now you've got a very nice little just vinegar salad.
Sure.
And if you make this in the morning and pop it in the fridge, by dinner time,
Yep.
it's perfect, right? At
Perfect.
that point, it's
Yep.
had time to really absorb and take in all those nice flavors. So that is our dish number 2. So why don't we put that over there? We'll get these stacked up. Gordon will be
Sure.
able to get a nice shot in eventually of all of our dishes. And then the second dish I'm going to do is baked tomatoes. So have you ever had baked tomatoes?
I have. Of course I have.
I love them. I eat them
Yeah.
a ton at my
Yeah.
house because one of the things I like to do is buy these vine ripened tomatoes and
I'll go down to the garden and get one.
if you know any time of
Soon,
year,
soon.
but then we always end up with so many tomatoes in our garden. So what I would do with these is pull them off their vine. It's the easiest thing ever. You literally just slice your tomatoes straight
Straight down.
Straight.
in half.
through the middle, right? Not through the core. You want to do it this way so that you get a flat bottom and that beautiful open. Look how rich and delicious that is.
Yeah.
That open top.
Perfect.
So these get a dash of olive oil, just right on top, a little drizzle like that. I'm gonna rub that on so they're all nicely coated. And then, dry my little oily hands here. Then they get herbs. So a little dash of herbs right on top of all of them.
Now, what was that one?
That was a little rosemary if you
Yeah.
like it. Some people
Sure.
can't eat rosemary if they're allergic to it. And that means they're also allergic to pine. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Because rosemary and pine are related. They look just alike,
Huh.
right? So you've got oregano, some rosemary, and what's this one? A little dried basil. You know what else would be good is thyme.
Sure.
Would be good over the tops of these. You could do anything, any of the herbs you've got in your garden. We do lots of, well, oregano, of course, takes over. So we've got
Sure.
oregano. And then the last thing you want to do is top them with cheese. This is a shredded Asiago
Oh, yeah.
and Parmesan mix because I like sort of a blend of it. So you top these guys with cheese. You put them in the oven at 350 degrees for 30 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes,
Sure.
till they're soft. And we've done that earlier. So I will pull out this guy for everyone to
at
see. Switch those out. Put this guy in the oven. And there you go. So this is our third tomato dish right over here. And then I think you are going to do the last one. So let me stick this over
This
here,
is
right
probably,
across you there.
probably
Thank
the
you.
simplest thing. Sure, go ahead.
There we go. Thank you.
Cut myself.
So what are you making?
I'm just going to make a little tomato salad.
Oh,
And I didn't quite get all that out of there. I like to cut that right out.
the core?
Cool.
Yeah,
Don't you
because it's
think?
kind of hard, especially in these beefsteak tomatoes,
Yeah.
right? Because they're so big. So what kind of salad do you have here?
Well, that is a chicken salad.
Okay.
That's just a little bit of celery, a little bit of onion,
You got a little fresh chive,
and a lot
maybe?
of chicken. Yeah, a little chive.
Chicken, a little mayonnaise.
And I just cut this guy like that,
Oh, okay.
and I go down through it probably 3/4 of the way,
Okay.
and then you can just open it up like that,
Oh, look at that.
Isn't it pretty?
That's awesome.
and then you take your
That is so classic. It really just reminds me of my
Doesn't it?
grandmother, you know? So that's exactly what we're
Excuse me?
doing. Well, these are the historical recipes.
Oh, okay.
So my grandmother
I've
used to
never
do
been
these
accused of being a
baked,
grandmother.
baked tomatoes. Really?
Uh-huh,
You've never
sure.
been accused? Well, you've probably been accused of being a grandfather.
Oh yes.
So
indeed.
let me top your
Just
salad.
throw it right in there.
Your tomato there. Looks gorgeous.
The fun thing of this is this can be tuna fish, this can be crab meat, this can be chicken, this can be ham. It can be just about anything you can make in with a little mayonnaise.
Oh yeah, that's
You know?
beautiful. You said
So-
Jane did this the other night, picked up a
Oh,
little
yeah.
crab meat for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Well, especially here in Maine.
Sure. Look at that.
You know, we can really find
that-
great,
isn't that
fantastic crab meat. So,
Sure.
yeah. All righty.
Only
So
in Maine.
look what we've done here, folks. We've got 4, so quick, in 10 minutes, we made 4 dishes Fresh out of the garden, light, healthy, and fantastic. So I really want to try one of these tomatoes. So let's let's take a quick bite off of this guy.
Sure.
And here's a fork for you. I'll use the chicken salad fork. I want to try one. Oh, did you see that? It's nice and crispy top. I might have to actually slice that
Top's the best part.
with a knife. Oh yeah, the top is the best part. So let's try this here tomato.
Very good.
Alrighty. So folks, we're gonna wrap it up here on People Plus Cooks. We hope you'll either grow something yourself or go out and buy something from your local farmer's market and try some of these recipes out at home and let us know how you did. Thanks for joining us at People Plus Cooks. We'll see you next time.